You are carrying something heavy tonight, I can feel it. And the strange thing is, no one told you to pick it up. You just watched everyone else carrying it, and you assumed it was yours too. You clicked on this video because somewhere between the sleep tracker and the calorie count and the article you read at 1 in the morning about what sugar does to your cells, a very quiet voice inside you whispered something dangerous. It whispered, "What if none of this is keeping me safe? What if the rules are the problem?" That voice is right, and I am going to show you why. There are 7 lies you have been told about your body, about exercise, about sleep, about cancer, about sugar. 7 heavy stones you have been carrying in your pockets, believing they were protecting you, when all along they have been pulling you under. A young scholar once climbed a mountain carrying 17 books about health and longevity. He wanted to ask an old monk the secret to a long life. What the monk told him changed everything, but that story must wait. First, the lies. And I warn you, when you hear the first one, you will recognize it immediately, because it lives in your body right now. It lives in the guilt you felt the last time you rested. But before we name them, I want you to understand why these lies exist in the first place. Because they did not appear from nowhere. Someone built them, someone profits from them, and that someone needs you to stay afraid. A calm person buys nothing. A frightened person buys everything, and so an entire industry learned that the most profitable thing they could sell you was not health. It was the fear of losing it. They do not need you well, they need you worried. They need you checking, tracking, measuring, doubting yourself at every meal and after every night. Because every doubt is a product, every fear is a subscription, every moment of guilt is a customer who will come back tomorrow looking for the thing that will finally make the guilt stop. For thousands of years, human beings moved, ate, slept, and lived without any of these rules. Your great-grandmother did not count calories. She did not track her sleep with a device on her wrist. She did not worry about glycemic index or inflammatory markers, and yet she lived, she thrived. She raised children and laughed at the dinner table and slept when the sun went down. What did she have that you have lost? Not information, trust. She trusted her body the way you trust your lungs to breathe, without monitoring it, without fear. And somewhere along the way, you were taught not to trust yours. If you have spent years feeling guilty about how you eat, how you sleep, how you move, hear me clearly. That guilt was put there. It was not born in you. A child does not feel guilty for being hungry. A child does not lie awake calculating hours until the alarm. That guilt was taught. And what was taught can be unlearned. So, let us meet the first lie. The first lie: you must exercise hard and often to be healthy. You have heard this your entire adult life. Push harder, go longer, no pain, no gain. And if you skip a workout, you have failed, you have fallen behind, you are undisciplined. This is a lie. For most of human history, no one exercised. I want you to really hear that. No one exercised. They moved. They walked to the river. They carried wood. They knelt in the garden. They danced at celebrations until their feet ached and their faces hurt from smiling. Movement was woven into life like thread into cloth. It was not a separate activity you scheduled between your suffering and your obligations. It was simply what a body did when it was alive. You have been treating your body like a machine, something to be driven, optimized, pushed to maximum output. But your body is not a machine, it is a garden, and a garden does not respond to force. It responds to attention, to seasons, to patience. You do not yell at a seed for not growing fast enough. You water it. You wait. You trust the process that has been unfolding in soil for millions of years without anyone's supervision. Your body does not understand the difference between a gym and a garden path. It only understands one question: am I moving with joy or am I moving with fear? One heals, the other slowly breaks you. In the Zen tradition, we do not walk to get somewhere, we walk to walk. Each step is complete, there is nowhere to arrive, and yet the body thrives. You have felt this, haven't you? The difference between a walk you took because the evening air called to you and a run you forced yourself through because you were terrified of what would happen if you skipped it. The truth beneath this lie is almost embarrassingly simple. Moderate, joyful, consistent movement is profoundly good for you. But Go for a Pleasant Walk does not sell gym memberships, so they complicated it. They added metrics and targets and shame. They took something as natural as breathing and turned it into a performance you could fail. The second lie: rest is laziness. This one lives deep, doesn't it? It sits in the place where your worth meets your productivity, and it whispers that you are only as valuable as your output. That stopping is falling behind. That stillness is wasted time. Listen to me carefully. Rest is not the opposite of productivity. Rest is where productivity is born. A farmer who never lets his field rest will watch it go barren within a few seasons. This is not philosophy. This is agriculture. This is biology. This is what happens to soil that is never allowed to simply be still. And what is your body, if not the earth you live in? Every tradition that has ever grown anything understood this: the Sabbath, the fallow year, the winter that lets the roots go deep, the pause between breaths that lets the next breath come. The world has always known that nothing alive can produce endlessly without a season of stillness. Only modern humans decided they were the exception. Isn't that something? If you rested today, if you lay on the couch while a voice in your head called you lazy, you did not fail. You did what every wise creature on this earth does when it is tired. You stopped. You are allowed to stop. You do not have to earn your rest by first destroying yourself. Rest is not a reward for exhaustion. It is a need. And meeting your own needs is not weakness. 2 stones set down. Can you feel it? A little lighter already. Good. Now, let us talk about the lie that visits you at night. The one that turns your pillow into a courtroom and your bedroom into an exam you can never quite pass. The third lie: you need exactly 8 hours of sleep. 8 hours is not a law of nature. It is a statistical average printed on a mattress advertisement and repeated so often it hardened into gospel. Some bodies need 7, some need 9. Some need 6 and a nap when the afternoon gets heavy. Your body has been telling you exactly how much sleep it needs your entire life. You just stopped listening because a stranger with a study told you your body was wrong. Here is something most people do not know. Before the invention of artificial light, human beings commonly slept in 2 phases. They would sleep for a few hours, wake naturally around midnight, and spend an hour or 2 in quiet wakefulness, praying, thinking, talking softly, then drift back to sleep until morning. They did not call this insomnia, they called it living. It was only after electric light compressed our nights into a single rigid block that waking at 2 in the morning became a disorder. You know, the moment you begin measuring your rest, grading it, assigning it a score, it stops being restful. You cannot optimize your way to peace. Peace is what remains when you stop optimizing. The fourth lie: if you cannot sleep, something is wrong with you. The single greatest obstacle to falling asleep is trying to fall asleep. Sleep is not something you do, it is something that happens when you stop doing everything else. There was once a young monk who could not sleep. Night after night he lay on his mat, furious at himself. He tried breathing exercises, he tried counting. Nothing worked. Finally he went to the old abbot and said, "I am broken. I cannot sleep." The abbot looked at him with great kindness and said, "Who told you that you must?" The young monk said, "Everyone. Everyone says I need 8 hours. I know the risks." The abbot smiled and said, "Then stop listening to everyone. Lie down, close your eyes. If sleep comes, welcome it. If it does not, welcome that too. Rest does not require unconsciousness. You are not broken, you are simply trying too hard to disappear." That night, the young monk lay down, without ambition, without judgment, without counting anything at all. And for the first time in months, he slept. You have been that young monk, haven't you? If you are someone who lies awake watching the clock, calculating how many hours you have left, hear this. The watching is the wound, not the wakefulness. You have permission to sleep imperfectly. You have permission to wake in the night and simply breathe without panic. The night you stop demanding sleep from yourself will very likely be the night it returns. 4 lies, and perhaps you see the thread now. Each lie takes something natural, something your body already knows how to do, and turns it into a problem to solve, a fear to manage. But now I must speak of something deeper, the fear that lives beneath all the other fears. You know the one. It is the reason you sometimes lie still at night with your hand on your stomach, pressing gently, checking for something you cannot name. It is the reason a friend's diagnosis felt like a message addressed to you. It is the fear you carry but rarely say out loud, and this one I ask you to hold gently, because it touches the most tender place in us. The 5th lie. If you do everything right, you will not get sick. This is the most painful lie of all, because it is not just a lie, it is a cruelty. It tells you that health is a reward for good behavior, and therefore that sickness is a punishment for failure. That if you eat the right foods, and sleep the right number of hours, and exercise the right amount, and avoid everything on the danger list, you will be safe. And if you are not safe, it must be your fault. I will not lie to you the way the world has. You cannot guarantee your body's future. No amount of discipline, no protocol, no supplement stack can promise you immunity from the conditions of being human. Cells behave in ways that are beyond anyone's control. This is not defeat. This is reality. And reality, when you stop fighting it, is actually a place of great peace. The ancient Stoic teacher Epictetus said we suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgments about them. The fear of illness, the catastrophic thinking, the nightly dread, the way you press your hand against your body checking for something wrong at 3 in the morning, that fear is not protecting you. It is consuming you. It is consuming the very life you are trying to save. Hello? Are you hearing me? Chronic fear floods your body with stress hormones that suppress the very systems you are trying to protect. The anxiety about getting sick is creating the conditions for sickness. The vigilance is not medicine. It is a fire that burns the house down while promising to keep it safe. What if instead of trying to prevent every possible catastrophe, you gave yourself permission to live fully in the body you have today? Not the body you might lose someday, the body that is breathing for you right now, the body that carried you here tonight. What if the purpose of life was not to make it last as long as possible, but to actually be present for it while it is happening? Does this make sense? If you have lost someone who did everything right and still got sick, you know in your bones that this lie is a lie. And if you carry the silent fear that you are next, I want you to breathe right now. You are here, You are alive, and this moment is not diminished by the fact that it will end. It is made sacred by it. You do not have to live at war with your own body. You are allowed to be mortal. You are allowed to be human. Take a breath, just one. That is enough. The heaviest stone has been set down. What remains is lighter, but it still matters because it follows you every single day into every kitchen, every grocery aisle, every meal. Every moment someone offers you a slice of cake and the calculations begin before your hand even reaches the plate. Let us talk about sugar and let us finally tell the truth. The sixth lie. Sugar is poison. Sugar is not poison. Poison kills you in small amounts. Sugar, in reasonable quantities, is simply energy. Your brain runs on glucose. Your muscles use it. Fruit contains it. Honey contains it. Your grandmother put it in her tea every morning and closed her eyes when she drank it as if the sweetness itself were a kind of prayer. But calling sugar poison does something very specific to your mind. It turns eating into a moral act. A cookie becomes a transgression. A moment of sweetness becomes a failure. And that transformation, from pleasure to guilt, that is the real toxin, not the glucose, the shame. You have felt this, haven't you? The way a single bite of something sweet can trigger a spiral of self-punishment that lasts for hours? In the Ayurvedic tradition, the sweet taste is considered the most nourishing of all. It is associated with love, with satisfaction, with the earth. It is not something to be feared or eliminated. It is something to be balanced. The seventh lie. Discipline means deprivation. The Buddha himself tried extreme deprivation. He starved his body. He denied every pleasure. He nearly died. And at the moment of his deepest depletion, a village girl offered him a simple bowl of rice milk. Sweet, warm, nourishing, and he accepted it. From that nourishment, that ordinary act of being fed, he found the strength to sit beneath the Bodhi tree and awaken. The path was not punishment. It was the middle way, not indulgence, not denial, the wisdom to give the body what it needs, and the freedom to do so without shame. The person who eats a piece of chocolate slowly, with full attention and full permission, savoring it the way it was meant to be savored, is healthier in every way than the person who eats the same piece in secret, in shame, hunched over the kitchen counter hoping no one sees, and then spends the next hour punishing themselves for their weakness. You know this is true. You have lived both of those moments. You know which one felt like freedom and which one felt like prison. You have permission to enjoy food. All of it. Your worth is not measured in grams of sugar avoided. True discipline is not the ability to say no to everything. It is the ability to say yes to your life, including the sweet parts. 7 lies, 7 stones. And now I want to return to that young scholar on the mountain, because his story is not finished, and neither is yours. The scholar stayed with the old monk for 7 days. He watched him eat simply but with obvious pleasure, sleep when tired, sometimes 6 hours, sometimes 9. Walk through his garden each morning, not briskly, not with purpose, but slowly, the way you move through a place you love. He put honey in his tea and smiled with every sip. He did not track anything. He did not measure anything. He simply lived. On the 7th day, the scholar asked one final time, "Master, what is the secret to a long and healthy life?" And the old monk, 94 years old, with steady hands and clear eyes, pointed to the scholar's bag, still packed, still heavy, sitting in the corner where he had dropped it on the first day. He said, "You have been here 7 days. You have eaten my food and slept under my roof and walked in my garden. Have you opened that bag once?" The scholar realized he had not once. The monk said, You carried all of that up a mountain, it nearly broke your back, and you did not need any of it. Perhaps that is the answer you came for. The secret is not something you add to your life. It is something you set down. The scholar looked at his 17 books, his meal plan, his sleep tracker, his list of forbidden foods, and for the first time he saw them for what they were, not tools of health, monuments to fear, every one of them built on a terror so deep he had never looked directly at it, the terror of having a body that will not last forever. Slowly, carefully, he placed them on the ground, and he felt something he had not felt in years, not knowledge, not certainty, something far more rare. He felt free. This story is not about a scholar on a mountain. This story is about you, tonight, right now. How many books are you carrying? Not literal books, perhaps, but how many rules? How many apps? How many voices in your head telling you what to eat and when to sleep and how to move and what to avoid? How many articles saved at 2 in the morning that you told yourself might contain the one missing thing that would finally let you stop worrying? How heavy is your bag? And when was the last time you opened it and found anything inside that gave you peace? The weight you have been carrying was never wisdom. It was fear dressed in wisdom's clothing. All 7 lies share one root: fear. Fear of the body, fear of illness, fear of death, dressed up as a wellness routine. And the antidote is not more information, not one more study, one more expert, one more set of rules. The antidote is trust. Trust in the body that has been breathing for you since before you knew what breathing was. Trust in the intelligence that heals your wounds without your permission and fights infections while you sleep and tells you when to eat and when to rest. That intelligence does not need your management. It needs your partnership. It needs you to stop being its warden and start being its friend. Fear is a convincing teacher. It speaks with urgency. It sounds like protection. But fear is a terrible doctor. It cannot heal a single thing. It can only keep you watching, bracing, waiting for the catastrophe that may never come. And while you wait, while you guard the door against some imagined future, your actual life, the one happening right now, in this room, in this body, passes by unnoticed. That is the true cost. Not illness, not death. The true cost of fear is all the living you miss while you are busy being afraid. So here you are, a little lighter, a little freer. Place your hand on your chest, right now, wherever you are. Feel that? That steady rhythm beneath your palm? You did not start it. You cannot stop it. It has been beating for you through every guilty meal, every sleepless night, every anxious thought, every 2 a.m. search you cleared from your history in the morning. Through every moment you pressed your hand against your stomach, checking for something wrong. It never stopped. It never once consulted your rules or asked for your permission. It just kept going, faithfully, stubbornly, beautifully, as if it trusted you even when you had stopped trusting it. Your body is not your project. It is not a machine to optimize or a threat to manage. It is your home, the only one you will ever have, and it has been keeping you alive without a single instruction from you. You do not need to be fixed. You were never broken. You were just carrying too much. Set it down now. Your hands were always meant to be open. You have permission to trust your body, to eat when you are hungry, to rest when you are tired, to move when it feels like joy, to stop when it does not, to enjoy sweetness without shame, to sleep imperfectly, to be alive without being afraid of being alive. You have permission to live, gently, simply, fully, as you were always meant to. May you walk forward with open hands and a quiet mind. May you sleep tonight without keeping score. May your body, which has never once abandoned you, finally feel you return to it, not with fear, not with a list of demands, but with gratitude, with tenderness, the way you would return to an old friend you have neglected too long. And may you remember, in the quiet moments, that you were never the project, you were always the home. Be well, be free, be at peace. And if these words found you at the right moment, leave a few words below. Not for me. For the next person who arrives here afraid and alone at midnight, so they know they are not the only one who needed to hear this. Your words might be the hand that helps someone else set down what they have been carrying. And that is a kindness worth leaving behind.